Good Wednesday morning.
Good morning.
How was everybody?
Morning.
That was a low energy morning, Martin. Come on, buddy. Let that,
Good
let that,
morning.
there we go. All right. All right. I just channeled my inner Tom Ferry right there. Tom will not let you get away with low energy stuff. So, especially at 8:30, I feel like we should be going, and hopefully the music is a little thing that puts you over the top, but hopefully your day is rocking and rolling by 8:30 in the real estate world. How about a win? Who's got something? Not much. We may need to do a session on some gratitude. I don't know if you guys are just bashful or just small wins, something that's going good. Maybe we just got to say something you're grateful for today. Maybe it's not even a win. How about something you're grateful for?
Good morning, it's Shauna.
Hey, Shauna.
Hi. I'll just say I'm grateful to be joining this call this morning because it's been a while. I've had a really hectic schedule, but great to, happy to be on this call and to be amongst colleagues that are, inspiring and thinking the right way.
Awesome. Awesome. I know the change was difficult for you, so I'm glad it worked out at least for this morning.
Yes, thank
Anybody
you.
else?
What was the question again, Steve? I just hopped
What do
on.
we
Sorry.
gratitude, Keely?
Oh
Sometimes I think
gosh.
maybe people when we say wins, you know, maybe we could just extend that a little bit because starting our day with some gratitude and taking a look at some of the small stuff, even though we're a maze of a mess, it feels so hectic. So
Yeah. So I think
you
for me today, um, I'm grateful that I'm able to walk because I have a really bad knee and I have to get a knee replacement and I can't walk far, but at least I can walk. So I'm grateful for that.
all right? You just got to be
Something
able to get
small, but
you got to be able to get from the driveway to the front door. You can
that's
get to
about
the
right.
yeah. Just if you can do that, you can do real estate.
Yeah, you got it.
Um, so the messaging that I had for you guys today was with regards to what I'm referring to as the mental battle space of our minds. In my kind of journey here to really minimalize, just realizing how much is trying to get our attention and is distracting us. Um, and it amazes me when we talk to agents that aren't hitting kind of the level of production that they want to hit. If we go through the, hey, show me your schedule, it's never any good. It's, I don't know what they're so busy doing, but it's not real estate related activities, and I think that comes back to this topic of there's just so many things out there trying to pull for our attention, and that switching that's happening. There's all kinds of science on this of how long it takes you to switch from focusing on your email to focusing on your social app to getting back to your CRM. And so I wanted to just kind of highlight this today and make sure that you are inspecting what's getting your time. If you've never done or never heard of that kind of calendar procedure, if you will, you're just going to take a look at your last week, look at the calendar, and see what's taking up your day, right? If it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen. When we say, hey, I'm going to do a 90-minute time block on prospecting and talking to people that are thinking about buying or selling real estate, we got to have it in there like a doctor's appointment. But I can't remember a time when we've done that process with somebody and yep, I prospected for 3 hours every single day for the past week. Then I showed houses all afternoon. Then I went home and I caught up on my clients and my current pendings. It just doesn't seem to be that way. So what is it? You know, I asked ChatGPT here for a list of the top 10 things that are competing for our attention. You've got all these social media platforms trying to sell you stuff, right? The algorithms are dialed in at this point. You guys know it. If you go on those things, they are going to show you stuff that you love and you will stay. So, you know, take a hard look at those social media apps. I think second is the news media, especially now. You got Olympics, you got the election. I mean, you could spend 2 hours doing the news, you know, and so you got 2 hours on social, you got 2 hours on the news. There's 4 of your 8 hours, John. Email and messaging was kind of number 3. So I asked it to put it in kind of order of where the average person's attention is going. If you don't have control of your email and you're haphazardly going through it, that is definitely an area where you can get control. And the second piece, they kind of lumped it together, was the messaging, right? Love our chat channels. I think they are amazing. I think it's one of the things that makes Rovi stand out is the collaborative nature of our chats. But if you've got the notifications going off all day, that's no way to be productive. You know, it needs to be you set an alarm, maybe you check in once, twice, even 3 times a day. You check in and you get the heck out of there. Streaming services came in at number 4. Ads, smartphone, family and friends, work obligations, household chores and responsibility, and then internal thoughts are taking up your time. But you can see for the average person, it's not probably the things that are most important to them: their health, their wellness, their family. It's stuff that just means nothing. News media, social media, messaging apps, streaming services. So just wanted to highlight this. I think we're all probably aware of it. Just when's the last time you inspected it? And can you make just a couple of changes? Can you get the apps off of your phone for a week? Just see what happens. Take the apps off of your phone. Some of these apps, right? One of the strategies is for like email, just take the email app off of your phone. You do email when you're at a computer. And you bulk it, you batch it all together, you rip through those emails, and then you're on to the next task. You know, I don't know if you guys use your streaming services just on your TVs or you use them on your phones. Just try doing without Netflix for a week. I promise you'll be okay. And I would argue, I think you're going to be in even a better place. You know, my kids did their first camp for a week away, and I think it was it was sports related, which was the idea of why we did it. And I think the biggest benefit is they took the phones away, and they were fine, and they were happy. You know, I'm super strict with bedtime routine, right? I personally am very strict about it. I just, you know, I want my head on that pillow by 9:30. I'm starting my routine by 8:30, and we've been teaching our kids the same type of stuff. You know, one of the questions on the car ride home was, hey, what time did you guys get to bed? 11, 11:30. But the nice thing is they weren't up on their phones. They were just in the rooms talking with other kids. You know, my son told me they had been, I mean, he's never played a lot of Monopoly. I mean, he's aware of the game. They would leave the board set up, play Monopoly, go out, do their thing, come back, play some more. But just have an interaction and just, you know, that's how you can really get some love going, whether it's with family members or friends. And so just wanted to highlight this today. It's coming up in my life. I'm auditing some stuff and just thought I'd throw it out there. Anybody have any thoughts or comments around this mental battlefield that is between our ears they want to share with the group? Margareta.
Morning, all. I just can't stop myself. Sorry, but one of the biggest thing it just happened to me. I've been analyzing something and going out, making all sorts of research, AI nonsense, and finally, I was talking to a friend, and they're like, "Well, it sounds like you need to call somebody who can help you with it." And I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And he's like, "Reach out to people." Sometimes we get just so into our minds, into like finding out an answer on Google. Call somebody, talk to somebody. I guess that's that human connection that you just get an answer so much quicker.
Thanks for sharing. Who else?
One quote that comes to mind when here listening to you is where your focus goes, your energy flows. And it's something that I try to keep in mind. It's definitely, you have to be intentional. Like you have to intentionally block out the noise. I mean, there are important things that pull on our attention, including our family, including our parents or our children. And those are things that, you feel guilty about blocking out. And I think more and more, I'm just trying to figure out how do I prioritize myself so I can really be there for others without having those guilty feelings.
Yeah. Great share, Shauna. One of the bloggers that I just started to follow recently, this is just a few days ago, and here I'll put her, Catherine Martinko. So Catherine, I just put her website in the chat. She wrote a book called Childhood Unplugged, Practical Advice to Get Kids Off Screens and Find a Balance. But the reason why I wanted to bring her up, I think she does a really good job of giving you tips and tricks on how to handle this if you've got kids. But the interesting thing was, one of the top blog articles that she wrote that got the most comments was one is like something to the effect of, it's not the kids, it's the adults, right? We're getting attached to these things, then they're following your lead. And if you're always on your phone, then they're always on your phone and they think that that's okay. So it's just like everything else. We got to lead by example. So having, no phone zones in the house or no phone or tech times and stuff like that can definitely help. It can get rid of these distractions. I've talked quite a few times about just kind of getting the news out of my life. I'm down to an email, a newsletter called 1440, which takes about 5 minutes a day. That's my news. For a while, I had gone completely newsless. And I just made a decision, hey, I've got 5 minutes that I can do the news, but there's no television news, there's no website news, there's no apps for news. I get one newsletter, highlights, and get out of the news. That's my news for the day. Anybody else have anything, tips, tricks, strategies that you're using on the battlefield that is our attention? Another little tip on Safari, you can, if you hit the little extensions button in the bottom left, you can get rid of all the ads. So if you're trying to read an article, you can just read the article, or you can have it read it to you. A nice little feature. All right. Well, if something's working for you, please come to this group and share it. I think our attention is one of the most important things that we've got, and everybody wants it, right? The media wants to sell you stuff. We are definitely in a consumer-driven economy in this Western world, and they're going to get you. There's no doubt. It's very difficult to stay away, and I think the only way to stay away is to just not consume the content. Let's switch over to some real estate. Who has got something going on a deal that is going to be a good share for the group? Margareta.
Sorry to bring this up, but I came across something that I was just a little bit taken back. I had somebody, a lead call on a listing. I've been trying to get a hold of the agent. The lead still wants to see the property. So I'm like kind of Googling this agent because I don't know them. I found the obituary for this agent. It's an older gentleman in a historic society. And it added up. And I'm like, I think he passed on. No wonder he's not calling me back. He's also the broker of the company that he's representing as an agent. So there's nobody really to follow up. I called MLS, but like, what happens to the listing when that happens?
Yeah, that I have not seen, because typically what would happen if somebody did pass away, because I think we did have that scenario with an agent, but then the broker obviously took it over. In this case, if they were the broker, I don't know. I mean, obviously they are not able to hold their obligations to that client. That client would be able to get out of that contract um, and move that listing to somewhere else. Is it a solo shop, Margareta? One broker, one agent, or are there other
Yes.
agents in the brokerage?
Yeah, this person was very specialized. He did historic stuff in Springfield. He doesn't have like he didn't do like a lot of business. It was all historic. He was also like a architect slash designer.
Yep.
So
So
he's
no other agent in the office.
no.
Okay.
No.
So I would just probably call MAR legal on this one, and ask for their input.
Yeah.
You know,
I
what
did
can
call
we do here?
MLS, and I called MLS and said, "Are you like what can happen? Is there somebody to follow up on this?" And MLS was going to look into it, I guess. But all right,
Okay, we'll
I'll
report
try
back on
MLS.
what the MLS says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like blew my mind. I'm like, but hey, that's life. Thank you.
Yep. Who else has something? Corey.
I have one. An agent came to me the other day. They went on a listing appointment. It's a condex, which is a two-family that was converted into two condos. They share common areas, the lawn service, the roof, parking, everything else, snow blowing, and all that. And one of them wants to sell. They have no association documents or anything. They just have handshakes. They alternate the driveway, they alternate the snow blowing, they alternate the landscaping, they alternate any bills. I mean, they share the gas, so they just one pays it and the other one pays them back. So they have a great gentleman's agreement going on. However, to sell it, I'm trying to recommend that they should put together something in writing, because a new buyer is going to probably want that. Or what if they don't get along as well as these two did? Has anybody ever experienced doing this process? I'm assuming we got to get a real estate attorney involved, but has anybody ever done this from scratch and know the process?
It's a great question, Corey. I haven't done it from scratch. I feel like most of the condex deals that my brokerage has been a part of over the years did have some sort of a agreement. You often had a lot of handshakes and some stuff that was documented. So I would agree with you. I think you're on the right path. I think we just need to hire a real estate attorney that can draft up a set of bylaws that these guys, the two current owners could agree to. I think that's got to be the process, because I would agree. I think a buyer moving forward is going to want to have something in writing, not a handshake. So there might still be some stuff that's going to be handshake, but I think the more that you could get into those bylaws, I think the better.
Are these two owners the first two who have lived in this property being set up as a condex?
Yes, it was an old home that was converted into a two-family, and the original owner sold half to each at two different times.
And it's recognized by the town as such and everything?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I was shocked that there was no documents.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any feedback on this one? You know, Corey, this could be one of those things too, just to save maybe a little bit on some legal fee. You go to Chat GPT, you tell it exactly what you're looking for. We're looking for an agreement between the two parties of a condex. We're looking for the agreement to address these, 20 items. Have it draft it, and then just bring it to a real estate attorney to be like, hey, is there, if you have any recommendations or changes, this is what, both parties kind of have agreed to. That might just save them a little bit on the cost.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So and obviously you're gonna need to get it recorded, so it's gonna pass on, to the next owners.
And what's that process? Getting it recorded? Is that just?
I think it's just the fee at the registry.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think you could, and this would be a question for the attorney. I think you could not record it. I just don't know. Then you might just have an agreement between the current parties, right? Not something that's going to pass on with the property, which might be in their best interest. I don't know. So maybe, an attorney could talk on which way might be best. Who else has something? Pretty unique one there, Corey. Great share. Done.
Hi. I just have, right now we're in negotiation for repairs on my listing. And communication's been good with the agent. He's away. He has a tough time reaching his buyer. His buyer's a Vietnam vet, and he has like a flip phone that he shuts off and whatever. So long story short, he was presenting the repairs that we would do. And yesterday was the deadline for inspections. And I messaged him and I was like, are we doing these repairs? What's going on? Are you filing an extension? And I haven't heard from him. So is there anything? I'm sure he's going to call today and be like, oh, I'm sorry, because he was on vacation or whatever. But like, this guy doesn't have a very big EMD either. My seller's actually trying to help him out because he's in a tough situation and he has a VA loan. But is there, obviously I'm hoping he's like, yeah, let's move forward with the repairs and whatever. But if he didn't, he would lose his EMD, correct? It's like nothing though, his EMD, believe it or not.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure we've got it correct. He submitted a repair request?
Yes, he sent it to us and he was gonna, but he wanted to make sure what we were reciprocating that his buyer agreed to. And that's what I'm waiting for. Does he agree to it or not, And he didn't say.
Right. So typically, and I don't know, which repair request was used, but typically there's going to be language that says, hey, here's our repair request. I got it in before the deadline. If we can agree to this, great, we're moving forward. If we can't come to an agreement, I'm going to back out and get my deposit back. So I don't know how much the date would come into play.
Okay.
Then I think on top of that, I think Connecticut is one of those states where it's like, there's an extra clause in there that says like the date, there's so many days after the date to do the negotiations or something. I don't know if somebody can speak to that. And I don't know what it says. I can't remember specifically for Connecticut, what happens after that date if
Okay.
you don't negotiate.
Jen, was it
this
the inspection contingency date or the negotiation period that was yesterday?
It was the inspection contingency, the
So
10
you have
days.
5 days to negotiate it.
Okay.
So from yesterday, you have 5 days to negotiate. If you guys don't come to agreement, then you're at the date where the deposit would be at risk.
Okay. Thank you. I just never dealt with it to
And,
the
and
deadline.
that's specific to Connecticut. Most states, I don't believe have a negotiation period. They just have an inspection contingency. And then negotiations in theory could go on for weeks, right?
Okay.
If I submit my repair request, here's the things, I got it in on time. We're going back and forth. It takes us sometimes to get some estimates and what are you going to do? What are you not going to do? So that period can go on for a little bit. And yes, we're past the date, but in good faith, I told you what I was looking to do. If you can do it, great. We want to move forward. If not, we want our deposit back. I'm speaking from the buyer side.
Okay.
So
So he's probably like,
Nicole,
he's probably like, why is she asking for an extension? Great. Okay.
yeah, right. Because you're in negotiations. Yeah. So you wouldn't need it.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Great question. And then Nicole, do you happen to know what that negotiation thing says? I mean, my guess would be like if you don't negotiate it within that 5 days, the buyer gets their deposit back. Not that they would lose their deposit.
Yeah, if you can't come to an agreement after the 5 days, then they get their deposit back. I just meant they would lose it if they wanted to like keep negotiating. And
Okay.
didn't do you need an extension for that if you're going to continue negotiations.
Okay. After the 5.
After the 5, yeah.
The 5. Okay. Cool. And so just everybody on the call, I know we got a lot of states represented here. Please, look at the language for your specific state on how those negotiations play out, if there's a negotiation period or it's just the inspection deadline. Tracy.
Yeah, I have one in Connecticut too. The same thing. We had the inspection period. The inspection went okay. We did ask for some repairs, and then we got the water results in, and there was like high in cholera. Of course, the seller agreed to do the repair, to do the treatment for the water, and we negotiated other things favorably. But he's going to be away for a week, and according to what his agent said, they have to turn the water on once every 20, once like every hour for 24 hours. So I was like, okay, so that's fine, but he's going to be away. So I was like, so does that mean that we're extending the closing? Because now we need you to, you're going to be away for a week, and our closing is it's on August 8th. I mean, realistically, I sent him an extension, and when he asked me why, I referred him back to my email. Like, you never answered me. Like, can you just maybe my idea was, can you just get one of those they have like a little thing you can stick on your spigot, and you can literally like a timer on your spigot just to run water. I don't know. Anybody got any thoughts on how you can run water when you're away?
I want some clarity on why we need to run the water every hour while, what was the thought process there for 24 hours, every hour?
That's what the listing agent said. The listing agent said that they'll treat the well, but that they're told that in addition to treating the water, they also have to run the water once an hour for 24 hours, which I don't know when anybody wants to be up every hour for 24 hours turning on water. So I've never heard this before. That's why I questioned it.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either, and I don't know why you just couldn't continuously run the water.
Yeah, I mean,
put it on that. So maybe we got to talk to
low flow
whoever.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to the people that are treating that well and see if we can get a clarification, because I've never heard of. Anybody heard of? You got to turn it on, let it run, turn it off, and do this every hour.
Just continuously run it to drain out the chemicals. That's all I was always told.
Yeah, you're right. You got to get all of that chemical out of the system. So I would think a slow run. So let's just get some clarity there, Tracy. A couple of the things as we're having this conversation that are just coming into my mind is when we're doing our inspection periods, sometimes you're going to have something that you're not, you don't have the results for, right? So we do the home inspection, the deadline's today, and the home inspection's fine, but we're waiting on the water results, right? So we do need to do an extension on our inspection period, and you can just say, hey, the only thing that we would potentially ask for is some sort of a repair or alteration to the water system, or whatever it is that we're waiting on, radon, etc. So that way there we give some assurance to the seller that, We're not extending for a week, and then we're gonna come back and hit you with all this other stuff. We're good with everything. We just want an extension for this specific inspection: water, radon, whatever you couldn't get tested, termites, right? So don't just be like, oh, everything's fine, we're just waiting on the water, and everybody knows we're waiting on the water, and then all of a sudden you come back and ask for a repair to the water, and they're like, well, we thought you were just looking for the results. Like, you're past your opportunity to ask for a repair there. Okay, so keep that in mind. What was the other thing that I had? Something else with regards to these negotiations and the deadlines. Anybody else think of anything regarding? Okay, had something else. I'll try and think of it and jot it down and bring it to you guys tomorrow. So great questions today. Really sparked up. We haven't talked about this stuff in a while anyway. So great stuff. Have yourselves an awesome Wednesday. Be mindful. Maybe you get a flip phone like Jen's client. That'll prevent you from getting stuck on your phone. That was one of the things that kind of came up on the older generations, is they can't get stuck on their phones. So try a flip phone if you're really struggling with your smartphone. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll talk to you in the morning.